what do you call, the maize farmers have been given subsidies and given supported. We also expected that we should be able to get some subsidy, support, financial support, where people's livelihood can be regained. The farmers are given animals to restock, money for restocking, drugs, because as it is now, because of the floods now, we expect a lot of the animal disease to occur. Rift Valley fever might not, I think it might be there. Many other diseases, livestock diseases, and even human diseases that we expect, people to get a lot of issues, diseases to come up. And I think we need to have at least an immediate measures to intervene. One other thing I want to talk about is actually that the timely debt to the government, I think that is commendable. That I think the president and the leadership of the government is under the leadership of His Excellency the President is taking so much concern on unpaid debts and accrued debts and all these things. And now that in the speech that we have been told that the president is saying that he's at least paying the money, the country is paying the money owed by the various donors and the various creditors. I think it's a very good move. This country is actually dwelling with a lot of debts, and we need to reduce our debts so at least we can be able to start fresh and be able to improve our GDP and our economy. One other thing is actually I want to comment is that the savings, the hustler fund, and all these things is a very good move. However, this has not trickled down so much in the rural areas, especially in far-fetched areas in the northern Kenya, that we are not beneficiaries of those things because of the religious aspect, and that these things involve some interest, and because of that, I think most of the people in northern Kenya are not benefiting out of this money. So I think we need to have a model that will be able to accommodate all Kenyans, so that at least we can be able to, all Kenyans can benefit. One other thing I want to say is that transformation of education. That actually is actually a wonderful thing, because as we talk now, because of the Al-Shabaab issue and these things, Kenyans, the northern Kenya people, especially in Wajir, Mandera, Garissa, and Marsabit, never used to have teachers for the last, I think, almost 5-7 years. All the teachers who have been recruited have run away. But of course, as a result of the intervention, now we are able to recruit teachers now. And we are hearing, as my colleague said from Mandera, the senator from Mandera, that the council have taken up the initiative to train their own teachers. And I think now there are almost 2,000 students who have already joined the training colleges and the universities. So at least by the time in the next 5 years, these counties will be able to have enough teachers on their own. I think this is a good move. I think one other thing is that I want to comment is that the cluster issues that have been obstacle to the training of teachers has now been moved, and subject clusters are not there now. Anybody with C+ can now do a diploma, and they think this has given us a leeway for us to train our own teachers and enough teachers. I think that's a very commendable thing. One other thing is this is actually raising concern, the student-centered financial support. This is a very good actual move. However, this has not been well done, because we need to do more study. We need to see how effective this will be, because I'm seeing there's a lot of concerns and complaints from the students who have joined university right now. They're all stranded and they cannot be able to pay their fees. Most of them are almost dropping out. I think we need to look to go back to the drawing table, so that at least we can be able to know how best this thing can be, people can benefit, the student can benefit. As it is now, I think there's no clarity on the whole issue. One other thing is the universal health care. This is a wonderful move. I think the Afya Nyumbani is a very good move, whereby 100,000 community animal workers, community health promoters have been trained and actually deployed. However, we need to give them at least enough facilities. Some of the areas in the northern part is actually so much undeveloped. The roads are actually a problem. Like this time, you can hear, this morning I was seeing in the paper that where a mother who was in labor had to swim across a river to go and listen, to get support to deliver. And I think that mother has taken risk with her child. And I think that should have been in the river, and I was really impressed. But however, we need to get at least enough facilities to promote and to facilitate these health workers. One other thing is we need the storage facility for those drugs should be provided. And, all in all, Honorable Speaker, one other thing is actually that we need to address is actually this country needs to heal, this country needs to come together, this country needs to move forward. And I think that is the aspect that the President has not said much about it. And one other thing is actually the biggest challenge we have. If you go out today, this government is almost getting unpopular because of, the high cost of living. I think the President should have addressed and actually said at least how we want to handle this, the high cost of living. With those few remarks, I beg to support.
Senator Muma.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity to contribute. Honorable Speaker, can Senator Cherargei and sit down? He always causes chaos when he comes to this house. Honorable Speaker, this is a very important issue. Senator Cherargei, who purports to love the President, should listen in when we are making our comments on this speech. It's very, very important. Honorable Speaker.
Senator Cherargei, what is your point of order?
Mr. Speaker, 105 on responsibility of facts. Is it in order for Senator and temporary Speaker of the House to state that another senator can cause chaos in the House? Mr. Speaker, sir, can she use parliamentary? Is it in order for a temporary Speaker to call out a senior ranking member of the House by saying, Mr. Speaker, that I can cause chaos in the House? Is it in order? Could she use a better language, or she is excused from when she is on the seat and when she is speaking, Mr. Speaker? Can you rule out of order?
Senator Muma, can you use parliamentary word when referring to senior members of this House?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I hope the senior members, the ranking members, will not disrupt debate in the House. Honorable Speaker, the State of the Nation speech. Honorable Speaker, I hope my time is being saved.
Senator Kinyo, what's your point of order?
Mr. Speaker, I'm standing on standing order number 105. Mr. Speaker, I listened to Senator Muma saying that Senator Cherargei, who pretends to love the President, should sit in and listen. So I'm wondering, how does she know that she loves the President or not, Mr. Speaker? Should substantiate that, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Speaker, I didn't say pretends, I said purports. So I'm sure it is up to him to tell the House whether he loves the President or not. I would know, I have no way of telling that. Honorable Speaker, can I proceed? Honorable Speaker.
Order, Senator. The Senator will be heard in silence.
Honorable Speaker, the State of the Nation address is a constitutional requirement.
Senator Cherargei, what is your point of order? We need to leave Senator Muma to...
I hope you're saving my time, please.
Stop her time,
Mr.
please.
Speaker, the procedures of the House we must stick to. When the Speaker orders you to withdraw and apologize, the good senator has not, she has just continued making others say. I would have expected her to request that the word chaotic should be struck out from the answer. That is the fair process of...
Very well, Senator.
Yes, that is what I am requesting. It's not a very hard thing I'm requesting, so that it does not reflect on the answer. Mr.
well.
Speaker, and for the purpose of record, I love the President more than Jesus Christ. So you don't need to get worried.
Honorable Speaker, I would want to withdraw the word chaos, causing chaos, and replace with the word disrupting the House.
Very well.
Which I did. Honorable Speaker, the State of the Nation address is a constitutional requirement on accountability by the presidency to the people of Kenya on how the government of the day is carrying out its responsibilities in relation to the people of Kenya. Mr. Speaker, particularly how the government is ensuring that the values and principles provided for in Article 10 are being taken care of. Mr. Speaker, in paragraphs 9 and 10 of the President's speech, he reiterates this responsibility. In Article 9, he said the transformation of our economy is not only desirable and important, but it is also necessary and an urgent. And the people of Kenya have made this clear at every opportunity. And he continued to say our duty as leaders is to listen keenly and comply with the people's wishes. Mr. Speaker, how I wish that you would lead by example, by listening to what the people of Kenya are saying at this time. I would have hoped that the President, at the time he was reading the speech, would have listened to the cries of Kenyans about the cost of living in this country. Honorable Speaker, in Article 10, he made reference to the citizens' freedoms and fundamental rights. He did not speak to the whole stretch of it, but we know that the entire of Chapter 4 guarantees certain rights to the citizens of Kenya. Honorable Speaker, among these rights are the basic rights to ensure that people live in dignity. Mr. Speaker, the state of the nation is that many families are not able to make ends meet. The state of the nation is that many families are not able to educate their children anymore because levies have been put on since this government came in place that have made it difficult for many families to afford tertiary education, to afford secondary education, to afford primary education. Mr. Speaker, the state of the nation at the time we spoke is that we have rogue departments that have decided to levy taxes left, right, center that are making the poor poorer and stressing those who are doing business in Kenya. Mr. Speaker, to increase the charges on a birth certificate, on an identity card, on marriage certificate, on death certificate, on acquiring of a passport, on reclaiming citizenship for Kenyans who are born abroad, on Kenyans who are on goods of Kenyans who are coming in, including second-hand goods that people are coming in with from abroad. Mr. Speaker, that is where the state of the nation is. Kenyans are being taxed left, right, center, whether they are dead or alive, whether they are in the womb or in hospital. That is the state of the nation, Mr. Speaker. I would have loved to hear the President pronounce himself on this issue, particularly on why the Department of Immigration has decided to, without following due process, levy charges on fundamental rights. Mr. Speaker, access to the ID is a fundamental right. Paying 2,000 for an ID will make the difference as to whether a child will go to university or not. Our children are finishing Form 4. Many of them will need to acquire IDs. Many of them will require those IDs before they get help. What this government has done is to say that if you come from a poor family, forget about university education. Mr. Speaker, that is the state of this nation. Mr. Speaker, many businesses are closing. Many businesses are crossing over to Tanzania because they cannot afford the taxes in Kenya. That is the state of this nation. And I would hope that those close to the president, the friends, and others will allow him to actually get in touch with the people to understand what is going on in order for him to truly understand what the state of the nation is and do something about the impact of his taxation policies on this nation. Mr. Speaker,
Senator Cherargei, what is your point of order?
Mr. Speaker, I raise understanding order number 98, standing order 103, 105, in responsibility of statement of fact. You know, even if this is a debate about the presidential speech, it is very unfortunate, but the senator has stated that Kenyans who want to go to university should forget it, because she is alleging that on the issue of school payment in the universities. Yet she is fully aware that the university model or the university payment model is being reviewed. Is it in order to allege that the government is not allowing people to go to university simply because they do not have money? Yet Higher Education's Loan Board, like 2 weeks ago, Mr. Speaker, sir, money was released for students who are ongoing in various universities. Is it in order? As a responsibility. And number two, she has alleged that businesses are crossing to Tanzania. Does she have the facts to clarify her assertions, Mr. Speaker? Even if there is to substantiate, even if you are debating on the presidential speech, it does not mean that you use the floor of the House to mastering the government. I know it's the work of the opposition to do it, but they should do it constructively and with facts. Mr. Speaker, is she in order?
Senator Muma, on those two issues, are you able to substantiate on what you have said?
Mr. Speaker, please give me time. I will actually bring information that is actually should be within access of Senator Cherargei.
How much time do you need, Senator Muma?
Within this week, I will actually submit that.
On the
I'll be able to submit
on the issue
the
of
fees.
businesses
Yes,
moving
on the
to
university,
Tanzania
the
and
fee
university.
structure. I'll actually, and I'm calling on all Kenyans out there
Very well.
who
So
have
on
not been
Thursday-
able to attend, to bring that list, because you want to trivialize this, so that we can give you the names of the many children who are not attending university because they don't have money. We will actually bring that list. And I'm asking Kenyans out there, please bring the names. I know some. I will bring that information, if that is the way you want us to go. I thought it is common knowledge that fees have gone high in the universities, but I'll bring it if that is what you want me to do. Mr. Speaker, the issues I'm speaking to is not because I'm opposition. Unfortunately, even children of those who voted for the president are facing the same fate. Unfortunately, families of Kenyans across board, regardless of who they voted for, regardless of their gender, regardless of their tribe, are suffering the same fate of the high cost of living. Mr. Speaker, that is the state of the nation. And it is important that we tell the president the truth so that the president can pause and review and think through. Can we keep moving forward on the basis that this country should actually be driven by the rich as we leave the poor behind? Can we even afford that? This is a government that purportedly stands for the poor. It must be able to lift the poor. All I'm saying, I did not hear the president speak to these issues. I would have liked to see the president speak to these issues because, Mr. Speaker, that is the state of the nation. We are not in a good place. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Senator Kinyua.
Asante Bwana Spika kunipa fursa hii. Kwanza mwanzo nataka kusema ya kwamba naunga mkono mswada huu, Bwana Spika, ya hotuba ya Rais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya. Bwana Spika, na ijulikane wazi, Rais mwenyewe alisema kinaga ubaga. Yeye anajua ya kwamba maisha ni mangumu. Ndiyo, lakini kuna ile mikakati ambayo imewekwa kuangazia kwamba Wakenya hali yao ngumu ya maisha inazingatiwa, Bwana Spika. Kwanza kabisa, Bwana Spika, bei ya pembejeo, Bwana Spika, imepunguzwa kutoka shilingi 7,000 Bwana Spika mpaka shilingi 2,500. Bwana Spika, kisa na maana ya kufanya hivyo ndiposa bei ya chakula iweze kupungua. Bwana Spika, wakulima hivi sasa sehemu zile ambazo tunategemea sana kwa hali ya ukulima, Bwana Spika, wamesema ya kwamba wameweza kupata mazao maradufu, Bwana Spika. Na ni kweli, Bwana Spika, ukiangalia sehemu nyingi unaona ya kwamba Mungu naye alitujalia kwa mvua, Bwana Spika, na mazao yameendelea kuwa mazuri, Bwana Spika. Bwana Spika, jambo lingine ambalo nataka kumpa Rais kongole ni alipoteuliwa kama rais. Jambo la kwanza alifanya, Bwana Spika, ni kuteua majaji ambao walikuwa wamependekezwa na tume ya majaji, Bwana Spika. Na hilo lilikuwa ni jambo zuri sana, Bwana Spika. Na hakukomea hapo, Bwana Spika. Aliendelea na askari polisi wetu ambao, Bwana Spika, hawakuwa wakijitegemea. Walipewa hela zao wenyewe waweze kuwa wao ndio wanafanya mipango wao wenyewe, Bwana Spika, bila kutumia vile ilikuwa hapo awali, Bwana Spika, wakienda katika taasisi zingine za serikali, Bwana Spika, ndio waweze kupata hela zao. Hilo, Bwana Spika, ni sababu la kujivunia. Na Bwana Spika, sisi kutoka Laikipia, Bwana Spika, ninaweza kusema peupe kimasomaso ya kwamba sisi tumeona hayo mambo yakileta amani na utulivu, kwa sababu sisi Laikipia usalama ulikuwa ni donda sugu, Bwana Spika. Tulikuwa kila wakati tunavamiwa na hawa majangili na hawa wezi wa mifugo, Bwana Spika. Lakini, Bwana Spika, serikali imejitolea, na nataka kumpongeza rais kwa sababu alisema ya kwamba kuliongezwa wale polisi wa ziada, Bwana Spika. Laikipia sasa inapoongea na yeye, Bwana Spika, tuna zaidi ya askari wa hakiba zaidi ya askari 500, Bwana Spika. Na hilo ndilo jambo ambalo nasema ni sisi kwetu ni afueni, Bwana Spika. Kwa hivyo, Bwana Spika, nikiendelea kusema, kwa sababu hata tukiwa na barabara nzuri namna gani, Bwana Spika, hata tukiwa na hospitali nzuri namna gani, Bwana Spika, lakini kukose usalama, Bwana Spika, itakuwa ni kazi bure. Kwa hivyo nampongeza rais kwa mimi kama seneta wa kutoka Laikipia kwa hilo jambo nzuri kwa mambo ya usalama, na akasema wazi ya kwamba hao wezi, wakora, majambazi wa mifugo watafuatanwa na wao, Bwana Spika, mpaka kuwe na utulivu ulioko. Na wale askari walioko huko, askari polisi, askari jeshi, askari uhakiba, hawatatoka, Bwana Spika, wataendelea kuishi huko, Bwana Spika. Bwana Spika, jambo lingine ambalo napenda kupongeza ni ya kwamba tayari kulikuwa kumechukuliwa, nchi hii yetu ilikuwa imekopa pesa ambazo ndugu yangu Mungatana alisema Eurobond, Bwana Spika. Na rais alisema vizuri kabla hata ya siku zake mwezi wa 6 mwaka ujao, Bwana Spika, yeye amesema ya kwamba Disemba hii, Bwana Spika, tayari serikali ya Jamhuri ya Kenya italipa dola milioni 300, Bwana Spika. Hilo ni jambo ambalo tunaona serikali inaendelea kuwa thabiti, Bwana Spika, kwa sababu, Bwana Spika, hawezi ukalipa deni ikiwa wewe si thabiti, Bwana Spika. Kwa hivyo, Bwana Spika, na ni vizuri kulipa madeni yako, Bwana Spika, ulionayo, Bwana Spika, kwa sababu tayari tulikuwa tumechukua zaidi ya dola bilioni 2, Bwana Spika. Bwana Spika, kwa rais alihakikisha wakati tulipokuwa tukizunguka Jamhuri ya Kenya tukiomba wananchi kura, Bwana Spika, rais alisema ya kwamba atazingatia jambo linaitwa Hustlers Fund, Bwana Spika. Na wakati huu tunapoongea na wewe, Bwana Spika, zaidi kama mwezi jana, Bwana Spika, zaidi ya bilioni 36.8 zilikuwa zimechukuliwa na wananchi wa Kenya, Bwana Spika. Hawa ambao tunaita hustlers ama walala hoi, Bwana Spika, tayari wakichukua hela hizi na zinasaidia katika shughuli zao za biashara, Bwana Spika. Na vile vile wameweza kuweka akiba ya zaidi ya bilioni 2.3, Bwana Spika. Kwa hivyo, Bwana Spika, mimi napongeza vile ambavyo rais alikuja kupatiana hotuba yake na kulenga mambo ambayo ameweza kufanya na mambo yale ambayo serikali inaendelea kufanya, Bwana Spika. Hakukomea hapo, Bwana Spika. Kwa mambo ya elimu, Bwana Spika, serikali imeajiri zaidi ya walimu 50 na zaidi ya walimu 56,000 Bwana Spika. Na hilo ni jambo zuri Bwana Spika, ambalo sisi na wanafunzi watajivunia, kwa sababu kumekuwa na shida katika nchi yetu ya Kenya. Na hakutoka tupate uhuru Bwana Spika, hakuna wakati walimu wameweza kuajiriwa wengi zaidi ya hiki kiwango Bwana Spika. Kwa hivyo tuna kila sababu ya kumwambia rais anaendelea vizuri na analenga ndipo Bwana Spika, na endelee vivyo hivyo Bwana Spika. Bwana Spika hajawacha mambo, kwa sababu alisema tulipokuwa tukitembea Bwana Spika na tukiomba kura kwa wananchi ama wakati wa siasa, Bwana Spika, shida iliyoko kubwa, na ndio ukweli, shida iliyoko kubwa katika jamhuri yetu ya Kenya ni wa vijana wetu Bwana Spika kukosa ajira. Bwana Spika, rais ameleta mfumo wa kujenga nyumba ambazo watu wanaweza kununua Bwana Spika. Na hizi nyumba Bwana Spika zitaweza kusaidia wananchi wa vijana wetu Bwana Spika, kwa sababu vijana wetu ndio watakuwa wakitengeneza madirisha Bwana Spika katika sehemu za jua kali Bwana Spika. Vijana wetu ndio watakuwa wakitengeneza milango Bwana Spika. Vijana wetu ndio watapatikana pale wakifanya haya mambo, hata kama ni mambo ya kuweka hizi nyumba maji, kuweka stima Bwana Spika, na hiyo itaweza kupatia vijana wetu ajira, kwa sababu vijana wetu wengi hawachagui Bwana Spika kazi, bora wapate pesa. Na hizi nyumba ambazo Bwana Spika zitatengenezwa katika kila sehemu ya nchi ya Kenya Bwana Spika, hasa ukienda tayari zitaanza kutengenezwa pale Nanyuki, mahali kunaitwa Yadi Bwana Spika. Na najua hivi karibuni rais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya ataenda kufungua hizi nyumba, na najua ningependa kuambia vijana wetu wa pale Nanyuki na Laikipia wakae chonjo, wakingoja kwanza kazi zitapatikana na wataweza kufanya zile kazi Bwana Spika. Kwa hivyo nina kila sababu ya kusema ya kwamba naunga mkono mswada huu wa hotuba ya rais Bwana Spika. Ni dhahiri shahiri Bwana Spika, rais alionekana katika sikukuu iliyopita Bwana Spika akizindua hawa wauguzi wa nyanjani Bwana Spika, na tayari tuna wale wauguzi Bwana Spika. Mimi nilikuwa hata pale Laikipia wakati governor wa Laikipia alikuwa akizindua wale wauguzi wa nyanjani Bwana Spika. Kwa hivyo hawa wauguzi 100,000 Bwana Spika wako, na tunajua wanaendelea kufanya kazi nzuri Bwana Spika, na watakuwa tegemeo, kwa sababu Bwana Spika, nchi ambayo haina afya Bwana Spika, hata utakuwa na ukosefu wa watu ambao wanaweza kufanya kazi Bwana Spika. Kwa hivyo ni kweli Bwana Spika, hawa wauguzi 100,000 tayari wako chonjo na wako gangari na wanaendelea Bwana Spika kufanya kazi ambayo wanapaswa kufanya. Bwana Spika, jambo lingine ambalo rais alilisema na ni nzuri zaidi ni hawa vijana wetu wa National Service Bwana Spika. Alisema ya kwamba wakati huu watu watachukuliwa kiasi cha watu vijana 40,000 Bwana Spika. Na Bwana Spika, kile kilichonifurahisha ni alisema ya kwamba ati watachukuliwa katika vijiji vyetu kila mahali Bwana Spika, hawa vijana wetu wa National Service watachukuliwa. Na Bwana Spika hakusimama pale, alisema baada ya wao kuenda katika National Service Bwana Spika, wakimaliza kusomeshwa pale Bwana Spika, wao ndio watakuwa wakiingia katika sehemu zile ambazo askari watakuwa wanajiunga, wanakuwa ni askari polisi Bwana Spika. Baada ya kumaliza pale, alafu wanaenda katika masomo ya askari polisi Bwana Spika, askari jeshi Bwana Spika. Kwa hivyo vijana wetu katika sehemu zetu zote watakuwa wameguswa, na hili ni jambo muhimu sana Bwana Spika. Hata kama mtu hawa 20% Bwana Spika, hata kama hawatajiunga na polisi Bwana Spika ama jeshi Bwana Spika, hawa watakuwa wamepata maarifa Bwana Spika. Wanaweza kuwa wao ndio wanaweza kutengeneza barabara Bwana Spika, wanaweza kuweka nyumba maji Bwana Spika, na vile vile kuweka stima Bwana Spika, kwa sababu wataweza kusoma haya mambo Bwana Spika. Bwana Spika, kuna jambo lingine tena alilitaja, alisema ya kwamba Bwana Spika, katika nchi yetu ya Kenya kuna shida Bwana Spika, kwa sababu tunapata mazao lakini masoko yetu Bwana Spika si mazuri sana. Alisema vizuri ya kwamba tutakuwa na masoko katika sehemu nyingi za nchi yetu ya Kenya Bwana Spika, na zile soko Bwana Spika zitakuwa na stima na maji Bwana Spika. Kwa hivyo Bwana Spika, hata ijapokuwa nimesikia ndugu zangu wa upinzani wakisema ati hotuba yenyewe haikuwa nzuri, Bwana Spika, Mswahili anasema mungala muue na haki umpe. Kazi nzuri imefanywa Bwana Spika, na ukitembea utaona haya maneno yote yakifanyika Bwana Spika. Na si hapo hapo, si komei hapo Bwana Spika, kwa sababu nakumbuka alisema hii pembejeo, kwa sababu wakati mwingi unapata iko katika miji yetu Bwana Spika. Alisema ya kwamba ipelekwe katika sehemu za mashinani Bwana Spika. Ukienda Nyahururu Bwana Spika, alisema isipelekwe Nyahururu peke yake, isipelekwe Nanyuki peke yake Bwana Spika. Ipelekwe Rumuruti Bwana Spika, ipelekwe Salama Bwana Spika, ipelekwe Matanya Bwana Spika, ipelekwe Thome Bwana Spika, ipelekwe sehemu ambapo watu wanaweza Bwana Spika kupata pembejeo bila kuwa na nauli yote wanalipa Bwana Spika. Na hiyo ndio kuinua hali ya maisha ya watu Bwana Spika. Na Bwana Spika, wengi ambao wanaongea unga, ukitembea uangalie bei ya unga Bwana Spika. Ni vizuri alisema ya kwamba inategemea ni unga upi Bwana Spika, ni unga upi ambao wewe unausema Bwana Spika. Kwa sababu wengi ambao wanaongea hapa Bwana Spika, mahali wananunua unga Bwana Spika, ni hawa ni mambo jenye Bwana Spika, hawa si wala lahoi Bwana Spika. Kwa hivyo ni vizuri waangalie mahali ambapo rais alisema, na mimi nataka kukomesha hapo na kusema ya kwamba Bwana Spika, naunga mkono na sema ya kwamba vile ambavyo rais alisema tuendelea kumuunga mkono Bwana Spika, na wananchi wa Kenya waweze kupata afueni Bwana Spika. Nashukuru Bwana Spika.
Asante Senator. Senator Tabitha Mutinda.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I want to rise by saying that I really do support and appreciate the address of the President, His Excellency Dr. William. To me, to start with, is that the address was just very to the point in terms of even the timeline that the President was able to use and direct to the main issues that we had been able to promise Kenyans during the campaign period. He did not even get off the things that so much we had not deliberated, but it was very much focused. It was a very well-formed address, which he was able to put it and put it across very, very well. Let me start by appreciating the fact that the President, even way before the address, we have seen that he's been able to move across all the 47 counties, ensuring that there is equal development. This is because all Kenyans are paying taxes and are eligible to equal distribution of resources and services to this country because it is in their right. I've had colleagues from the opposition today speaking and trying to bring the issues of shares and trying to indicate that Kenya Kwanza government has tried to just offer services to the regions that were able to support them, which is totally not the case, because we've seen him actually in the western region, whereby of course we did not fetch much, but equally distributing and looking at the blueprints in this region, ensuring that development is given as required by the law. Mr. Speaker, I note, even before I point out some of the issues that the President was able to address, I do note that very sadly that our colleagues from the opposition have been very negative and stated the reasons, some of the reasons that they could not attend the address last week on Thursday, pointing issues right, left, and center. But then you wonder, why would a whole honorable member who has been elected to represent his or her own people in different regions not create time then to have an opportunity to speak with the president of this country, a president who is a president of everybody, who interacted with everybody on Thursday as we saw, who was also having different talks with different members on different issues in this country. And if the opposition in this house are very, very genuine as they try to claim, then that is the time they would have sat and had an opportunity to discuss with the president on the different issues that they felt were not addressed. That is what a leader does. One thing I want to appreciate is that I know that they were very keen to listen to the progresses, and then they listened to the president because he's the president. And if there were loopholes, if there are areas that had not been touched, it was the best time to come because they have access as members of parliament, unlike the voters maybe who have minimal access. They have had a very great access that day to meet with Dr. William Ruto and have different discussions. As we saw, members were trying to have that. So the point of trying to lie, trying to sadly tell Kenyans at this time that they were comfortably seated and drinking and whining, yet they are trying to claim that they are here fighting for the cost of unga for the Kenyans. It is sad. It is sad. That is the time they would have used to ask Dr. William, why have you not done this or why have you not done that? Then at that time, at that platform, they would get a response that they would then communicate to their people who actually put them in these different offices. One thing that made me very proud as a woman is the issue of the healthcare promoters. We in this House and the National Assembly were able to pass the Universal Healthcare Bill, Universal Health Coverage Bill, which had different acts in terms of the digital health, among others. And I'm happy because the president, during the, was it Mashujaa Day, was able to commission over 100,000 healthcare promoters with also equipment. And this happened across all the 47 counties. Why I say I'm happy and proud is because most of this job has been undertaken by young women. And so they were able to have an opportunity, and also the president promised that the national government, also in collaboration with the county government, is going to set some kitty, some amount that they are going to give them and reimburse them, the healthcare promoters. And it is a good progress, because a healthy nation, then a wealthy nation. And these are achievements that are highly being achieved also through the bill, the health bill that was passed. From the digital perspective, in ensuring that there's quick servicing, because then we move digitally. At the same time, matters of the amount that is supposed to be paid for healthcare, you find that both the people who are able, in a position to afford, and those ones who are not able to afford, then it gives an opportunity whereby everybody is covered. Article 43 is very clear in terms of emergency, medical emergencies. From next year, as it's going to kickstart, then you'll find that a Kenyan is eligible for emergency health at that particular moment. Mr. Speaker, the issue of judiciary allocation, 3 billion allocated to judiciary.